This is Isaiah 4 and 1. It says, in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by that name to take away our reproach. I like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is a video that I saw on TikTok that gives that actually gives scientific proof of why we will have a scenario like Isaiah 4 and 1 when all hell breaks loose. So we're going to play this video and then we're going to get some scripture.
Number one, I don't like negativity and I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news. Number two, I didn't want to believe it. But after doing so much research and getting a lot of messages, I'm going to just deliver the unvarnished truth to you guys. I'm just going to lay it out straight. We're in a dating crisis. Not basically, we are. That's what's happening. So let me look at my research here because I don't want to mess it up. So men looking for casual dates and our relationships is down 50%, 50, since 2019. Not since 1970, since 2019, right before the pandemic, down 50%. They're not fucking looking, which means if you're a woman looking, they don't fucking give a shit. So as this trend continues, by 2040, 45% of women, 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single and childless based on this trend. Let that sink in for a moment. I'm going to talk a lot more about this, so if you're interested in this topic, hit the follow button because I've got a lot more of information, a lot more to share with you guys.
Now, granted, I hope we don't have that long, but you heard what this woman just said. By 2040, some I've even saw some videos that said even 2030. By 2030, basically half the women, I'm sure it's probably in the United States, okay, will be childless, no man, and never have gotten married. Now, you may say this could be false, but I don't think so. We got to look at the current environment that we have. You have this huge surgence, I think that's the word I want to use, of so-called MGTOW, red pill content flowing around on the internet. Okay? You have statistics that prove that the majority of the women only shoot for a top percentage of guys. You have the whole passport brother movement where you got guys that are getting their passports and they're just going overseas to find women. And then you have all these women getting on TikTok talking about, why can I not find a man? The dating scene is horrible. I just divorced my husband of 30 years and I can't find anybody. See, all these things, all these scenarios and stories that I've seen on the internet leads me to believe that most likely this information that she's giving to us is correct. So scientifically, they have proven that when all hell breaks loose, Isaiah 4 and 1 will be coming to pass. Let's read that again. Isaiah 4 and 1. It says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Now, that doesn't sound like something that a man would be doing out of the kindness of his own heart. This doesn't sound like a prophecy that's going to happen because women are just going to have this big revelation. It's like, you know what? I just need to change my ways. I'm going to go find me a man of the Lord. No, this is a prophecy that will stem out of necessity, out of desperation. Why? Because you have stuff like this. You're talking about a situation where women are going to have to hope and pray that a man remotely finds them even worth being around. Because with all these women out here not having a man to look after them, that means they're going to be put in a scenario where they're going to have to get with a man for safety. Because you have to remember, as the scripture says, Isaiah 32, we're going to start at 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. Who are those princes? The hopeful elect of Israel. Okay? It says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. That means that a man, not just any man, a man of the Lord, is going to be a woman's only path to being saved out of the upcoming situation, because there's an order to these things. As the scripture tells us that it tells you that, I think it's in Corinthians. First Corinthians 11, and I'm going to start at 1. It says, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Yahweh Shai. Now see, that's already established in order. It says, now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. So there you have the order. You have Yahweh, you have Yahweh Shai, you have the man, you have the woman, and though it doesn't say it, obviously you have the children underneath that. So when we talk about Isaiah 4 and 1, when we talk about Isaiah 32, 1 and 2, these are scriptures that let you all know that when that time comes for many women, the only way that they're going to get saved up out of this jam is to get with a man of the Lord, meaning that there's going to be big time competition for women. You thought that these women were competing hard for these top tier 10% men? Wait till all hell breaks loose. You're going to have literally tens of thousands of women trying to compete for a man of the Lord so they can get up out of this jam. Think about it. We just saw the video, and this woman explained it with science that by 2030, 50% of the women will not be married, will not have a man, will not have a child, and they'll be single. So the only conclusion left is that when all hell breaks loose, that just means there's going to be an abundance of women competing and vying for the grace and mercy of a man of the Lord. And see, many women right now, they can't compete. They're not even in the level of competition with certain men. And we're talking about this on a carnal level. You have a lot of women that can't even compete for these top 10% men. And this is on a carnal level. How much more when we get to a point in this divine film where your very own life, your soul, your salvation is on the line. This is why the scripture says this, and I could probably end it on this. This is also in Isaiah 13 and 12. And it says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Okay, so this is the type of man that many of you women are going to be competing for when all hell breaks loose. And we know how precious gold is right now. Gold is over $3,000 an ounce. And the scripture is telling you that a man of the Lord is going to be more precious than fine gold. I don't know, ladies. It's something to think about. Because if a lot of you can't have these ideas about the ideal man you want, and he's most likely in the top 10, if you can't really compete right now, or you don't want to compete, what makes you think that you might get a man of the Lord? Or how much harder is it going to be to obtain a man of the Lord who's going to be way more precious than these so-called MGTOW, red pill, these alpha guys, these top tier guys, top 10% guys? How much more difficult will it be to obtain a man of the Lord? Just something to think about. So that's all I want to say. I hope you all were edified by this. Until next time, we're going to say shalom.